Hi, welcome everyone for Microsoft Research Summit Industry Session. I'm Ravi Krishnaswamy. I'm a Corporate Vice President in Azure Core Engineering. I manage the commercial industries portfolio. I'm here to talk about what we see as industry trend and how we are actually innovating on the technology side today. Disruption in the context of industry is nothing new, right? From industrial evolution era, every industry has been getting disrupted. But we at Microsoft believe the current level of disruption that's happening, consumer is at the heart of it. And with the ever-changing customer behavior, customer expectation, it's gone from product to services to experience-led economy that makes it possible for a new business model to be innovated. And we at Microsoft believe in the secular trend. And of course, we all share the planet and we are depleting resources, natural resources in the planet on a daily basis. So climate change is an important trend underpinning consumer expectation, underpinning regulator expectation, underpinning every boardroom conversation. So again, every industry need to pay attention and innovate along with that. And of course, there is always the curveball kind of disruption, which we all went through last year, that is remote everything and COVID-related disruption. As I look back at the last year, my own behavior as a consumer, I started reacting first initially to kind of hoarding sanitizers and toilet paper. Who want to be left without toilet paper, I guess? But once I started digesting that and responding, and then I, as a parent, as an employee, as an employer, I need to understand and organize my own behavior and my own environment. Then I started reimagining what my world is going to be in this new norm. What matters to me? I started cooking more. I started demanding more and more fresh ingredients. I started consuming more content, and so on. Right? It's not just my behavior. I think it's the underlying consumer behavior that is shifting every aspect of industrial innovation in a post-COVID era, not just supply chain. So here I will talk about one such trend, which is, as I alluded to, which is near and dear to me, which is farm to fork. So for that to happen, I will take this example to walk you through this value chain that touches multiple industry that is getting disrupted by this one trend. The journey of this value chain starts from food research in the laboratory. Then it's the equipment manufacturer that need to go along, like to make everything connected. The farmer needs to get the connected data graph to be able to precision engineer, to be able to yield optimize his own crop. And the food producers, distributors, and the downstream supply chain, and including the retailer, including delivering the food to the consumer, this supply chain, this value chain touches multiple industries, and I would cover that in the next few minutes in terms of how this particular one trend touches crosscuts across multiple industry. To compound that, world population is ever increasing. Close to 2 billion people are malnutrition. 70% more food needs to be produced by 2050, and we need to do this in a responsible, climate-aware way. So what must be true to deliver on this shifting trend? First off, upstream needs to become all digital. What does that mean? It's, as I keep alluding to, it's precision agriculture. It's not only at the lab level in terms of how you engineer the seeds, but it also how you combine different data signal, whether it is drone signal, soil moisture, soil sensor signal, satellite data images, etc., to be able to help the farmer, as I keep alluding to, predict the yield and optimize the yield in terms of how 70% of his economy or unit economics depends on factors that he can't control. So more data he has, more in control he is. And carbon farming is a sub-trend that is emerging. What does that mean, right? The agriculture industry could be a net carbon negative industry, and there is a real opportunity emerging here as well. And in the advent of reduced awareness around reduced carbon footprint, vertical farming is becoming a phenomenon as well, growing food closer to ingredient, closer to the consumer. And we all love our alternative protein, right? Whether it is plant-based or cell-based. So these are all some of the trends that need to be innovated around. And if I shift to downstream around retail, as we saw, consumers are demanding more green product, 20 years ago, it was all around organic product innovation. Now it's going to be around like carbon skew, green skew, so to speak. Omnichannel is here to stay. In the post-COVID world, that's only getting more and more accelerated. I would say like, on an average, like probably COVID accelerated this entire trend by a decade. And underpinning all of that, as I keep alluding to, is the needs of an intelligent supply chain. It needs to connect from your food origin, from a seed manufacturing, all the way to finished goods that are hitting the retail, all the way down to the last mile delivery, and the expectation around that the experience-based economy that I keep alluding to. And for this to be true, the food authenticity needs to be able to traceable end to end. Everything in the value chain should be automated to be able to real-time get the connected graph going. So these are some of the sub-trends that's the supply chain industry need to innovate around. And energy transition and being aware of carbon footprint in that context, and being able to use renewables more, being able to reduce, again, supply chain directly responsible for reducing our carbon footprint as well. And so all of these are interconnected industries. And financial services is actually going through unprecedented disruption as well, not just around digital products, payment products, but also value gets generated, right? All this disruption leads to venture capital investment coming in, leads to new entrepreneur opportunity and so on for traditional bank as well as new age banks that are coming up. So more and more financial products will get innovated as well. So what does all of this mean? We collectively, as industry, has to move from intuition to precision, from manual to automated, from information to consuming insights. And we need to do all of that with a sustainable foundation. And that's how at Microsoft we look at industry. It may vary case by case, but the fundamental thesis that we are operating on is that this is what we need to collectively solve. So at Microsoft, we bring intelligent cloud, intelligent edge to be able to connect your entire value chain so that you can go after the connected, the intelligent, the precise compute that will unlock innovation for you. And we bring all of this in an elegant package, which we call Microsoft Cloud for Industry, and we have released several of that over the last year. Let me take an example of Azure for Operators and 5G. With the advent of 5G, we believe what 4G did to consumer space, 5G is going to do to business and enterprises today. As we saw in the farm to fork, this is where I think the connected graph is going to become a lot more real, because unprecedented ubiquitous compute is now possible at the edge. Limitless connected experience, whether it is smart building, whether it is your mixed reality, whether it's your industrial IoT. We believe 5G is a critical piece for solving this connected graph, and we are investing behind that. Going back to the farmer scenario, with 5G, the farmer finally be able to real-time unlock all the sensor, drone, satellite image coming together for him to be very precise in optimizing his yield. That's just one example. And with Azure for Operator, we are also building the right infrastructure for the telco industry to be able to run the network functions at cloud and edge, to be able to run it over the internet transit over high bandwidth, low latency, ultra managed Azure WAN, such that they don't have to have their own infrastructure. And we don't stop there. We connect your devices to even space. With our orbital investment, Azure orbital investment, whether it is Earth observation scenario or remote sensing scenario, in the industry context, we want to elegantly make the infrastructure available to fill in the gap. Whether it is your communication, 5% of the globe can only be covered via connectivity via only satellite. And so we are installing base station along with our Azure data centers to be able to solve this across the globe. And we take our partners to be able to solve the data processing and visualization needs around that as well. So whether it is your control plane of controlling your satellite, whether it's your communication, whether it's your data processing, Azure Orbital is an elegant way for you to innovate in your industry context. And one technology that my team is innovating is around TV white space. It's pretty incredible if you think about it. It's low cost, We have actually pioneered even regulatory aspects around that, which is to use unused TV spectrum to be able to further your Wi-Fi signal. And think of the farmer scenario. This is a very cost-effective way for a farmer to extend his Wi-Fi signal and being able to get the data in real time, both processing into cloud and actually insights back from the cloud. When I talk about intelligence, I want to talk about what our partner Landolex is doing with one of our platform called Azure FarmBeats. And they have built their ag tech on top of Azure FarmBeats, which allows their data science department to enable the precision agricultural related tooling, whether it is dairy insights, whether it's sustainability related, reducing emission, sequester more carbon. So they are able to innovate along with this in the industry context. One more technology that my team is working on is called SpaceEye. This is a Microsoft research tech that we have been perfecting, again, in the context of industry. Again, I'm going to talk about how it is relevant for farmers. This is a satellite image. As all of us know, a lot of the times that clouds come in the way of seeing through remote sensing. So being able to remove the cloud cover and still see through is pretty incredible tech. And it is optical reconstruction based on fusing, fusion of like satellite image with radar sensors and being able to elegantly solve that. So we can not only see a farm being stressed, but we could also apply it to other freight scenarios, whether it is in the port or whether it is in other remote deployment scenarios as well. And when it comes to precise compute, I want to highlight one example. Nitrogen is so incredibly important for plant growth. Often the natural way to, of course, you can add fertilizer, but that has it's also depletion on the natural resources. One way to kind of look at and understand the natural phenomena that nitrogen is, unlocks is like, a natural way for a farmer to break down, nitrogen into ammonia at room temperature, at room atmospheric level pressure. Often he resorts to planting beans and legumes to be able to do that. But to understand how this particular enzyme works, it ultimately is a protein. It ultimately is amino acid sequencing. And today's existing compute cannot solve this problem at all. It's 10 to the 51 power. It's like even if you consume all atoms in Earth, it's not solvable multiple times over. We believe quantum compute is going to solve this elegantly with a couple of hundred qubits. With quantum, what we believe is in the industry context, not just nitrogen fixation, it's going to unlock carbon sequestration opportunity. It's going to unlock new material science, material genomics. And that's whether it is your battery tech requiring a new material or your space travel requiring a new lightweight alloy, I think future with quantum is going to unlock unprecedented amount of opportunity for innovation. And machine learning is already touching every aspect of our life. That trend is only going to get accelerated with quantum because now data scientists can apply phenomenal amount of compute to solve things in real time, which was previously not possible. To summarize, industries are always getting disrupted. The ever-shifting consumer experience-led economy is going to present unprecedented new business model level innovation. We want to invest alongside the industry in technology that both underpins the innovation today and the business model innovation of future. I invite you all to avail the rest of the sessions today. That's going to go much deeper into the subtrends that I talked about, how technology can help solve the problem, how industry and Microsoft can co-innovate together, and how we can be responsible in terms of creating a sustainable future for us all. Thank you.